Well, good evening, folks. My name is Justin Crozier. I am the owner and proprietor of Crozier Law, LLC. I'm a criminal defense attorney, and I work in a variety of different cases. Today, I wanted to talk about, I'm recording this a little bit late, had a busy day. I have got my sleeves rolled up to indicate that it's been a hard day's of work, and I have got a drink in my hand to indicate that I'm bad at making decisions. I don't know. So, what I wanted to talk about tonight, I recently had a great result for a client, and it was in something called drug court. I can't tell you the client's name, obviously, but he has given me permission to discuss the case in general, because he felt like he got a great result, and he was really excited about it. And I think it's a great way to illustrate one of the concepts, or one of the things that happens in the legal field, in criminal defense, especially if you work in drug cases often enough, that it's worth talking about, which is drug court. In Missouri, or at least around here, I think every county offers drug court of some variety. The idea of drug court is that if you are a person who's been getting in trouble because of drugs, then there's an outlet to allow for recovery rather than punishment. The main thing about this is that it doesn't have to be a drug crime that you were committing that caused you to get into this situation. I'll talk a little bit about this client. I'm going to say his name was James for the purposes of tonight. And James had been charged with 3 different felonies. He'd been charged with theft, he had been charged with forgery, and he had been charged with forgery. Because he was, not just him, but along with someone else, he had been making some fake money. And he got caught doing it, and so now he is in a situation where he got himself in a position where he was looking at potentially some very serious time. Each of those at the time were Class C felonies, and so Class C felonies, each of those carried potentially a 7-year sentence. Additionally, James had actually been in trouble when he was younger, and he had already gotten a felony, so he was a prior offender. And this could really have been very bad for him. They could have charged him as a persistent offender. They could have done a lot of things, and it would have been pretty rough for him. So, in talking with the prosecutors, they had given us the option to, well, they didn't want to do drug court at all. What they had said was that they would offer him 5 years concurrent. So no probation. Probation was not an option for him. They were only going to do 5 years concurrent on all 3 charges. And what that means is that on each charge, he was going to get sentenced to 5 years, but all of the time was going to run at the same time. So instead of doing 5, then 5, then 5 of 15, what he was going to do was 5 all at the same time, 3 times, if that makes sense. It just basically means he's doing 5 years, is what that boiled down to, which was still a lot of time for him. And we knew that, in talking with him, he knew that a lot of his problem had stemmed from drugs. He had had a problem with drugs. He'd had a problem with some opiates. He'd had a problem with methamphetamines. He'd had problems with drugs for a while. He'd been in trouble for a long time. And the trouble that James had was that now he was looking at some really serious long time. He had a daughter that was about to be born, and he really didn't want to do that. But at the same time, we couldn't go to trial, because if we go to trial, we're going to lose. You know, I mean, we're not going to win at trial. The evidence was very strong, and it doesn't matter if you're the best attorney in the world, that if no one has done anything wrong, that you're not gonna win. You just can't, unfortunately. I mean, sometimes that's just the way the cards are. So the only other option was drug court. And I talked with the prosecutor about it. I said, you know, I think he'd be a good candidate for drug court. He really wants to get clean. He's got a daughter. He wants to stay sober he's got a lot of reasons to do it. And he's actually been clean for now 30 days, you know, while I've been working with him. And the prosecutor said, no, I'm not going to do it. We happened to be in front of a judge that was a big fan of drug court, and actually is the guy who runs it in that county. So James and I talked about it, and I just asked the judge for drug court, asked to get him screened. And so the judge, like I said, a big fan of drug court anyway, said, yeah, absolutely screen him. Prosecutor tried to put up a little bit of a fight, but we got him screened for drug court, and he was approved. And then it took a little bit of time to get him in. So discuss what drug court is for a minute. Drug court is an opportunity to, if you successfully get through drug court, then what's going to happen is that the felonies get dismissed. So you plead guilty to every felony that's there, and if you get through and you're good, you complete the program, you stay clean, and they'll test you a lot. You stay clean, you do what you're supposed to do, you pay the fees that you're supposed to pay, get a job, you stay employed, you do everything right. They dismiss the charges when you're done. It's really a great program for the people who can do it, and not everybody can. I have definitely had a guy who had some serious drug charges, and he had said, I could get him probation. And he said, I don't want to do probation. I can't. I'm not going to successfully complete probation. I know who I am. I'm an addict and I'm a criminal, so I'm going to get in trouble again. I know it, and I'd rather do time than do probation. I can't do it. So some people it's not good for. But for the people who can complete it, it's a great program. It allows for the charges to be absolutely dismissed. It gives you a chance to get back on your feet. And it can be really good. In fact, with James, I was talking with him earlier, and he had said that he was having a bit of a hard time. Things were going all right. He was staying clean. He was doing what he was supposed to do. He was reporting. He was going to court every week the way he was supposed to. Hitting all of his marks the way that he needed to, but he was sleeping on a sleeping bag in his apartment that he was sharing with some other people. He didn't have a bed, and he told the court about that, and the clerk and the judge's administrative assistant got some money together and took a bed to his house, to his apartment rather. Because he'd been doing such a good job, and they were so impressed with him that they took it on themselves to try and make sure that he was going to be doing well. And drug court is really, it's amazing for the people that it's good for. So, in addition to all that, the other really fantastic thing about this is that James, not only did he, is that what's going on? He's going to finish this successfully, but he's also, so that's going to be off his record. He's not going to have those felonies. But if you successfully complete drug court, there's been some changes in legislation recently that if you complete drug court and you've got prior felonies, you have the opportunity to expunge those felonies. So not only is he going to get away from this without having those felonies on his record, but those old felonies, which were also the result of drug use, he has the possibility to get rid of those as well. And he can come out on the other side of this after being sober and clean and doing what he's supposed to do with a clean record. He won't be a felon anymore. And he had been, he called me when I let him know that was a possibility. And he was in tears on the phone saying, he'd never thought he was going to have a normal life again. He never thought he wasn't going to be a felon. He thought that no matter what happened, he was going to, he wasn't going to be able to vote. He'd always have to report himself as being a felon. He'd never be able to get a good job. He thought that he was done, which is why it was so easy to say, well, what's the harm? I'm already going to be a felon. Who cares? And now he had the opportunity to really fix all of that stuff and to actually come out as a normal citizen. It's one of the better results that I've had. Now, he still has a lot of hard work that he has to do. He still has to stay clean. Like I said, every week you have to report. Not only that, but every day you have to call a number every day. And if they say your color, your number, or however they do it in whichever county you're in, that if they call your color for him, then you have to go and drop that day. And if you call in late, if you don't come in on time, if you don't drop, if you drop dirty, whatever, then you're going in jail for 24 hours. And if you do not successfully complete the course, then you are looking at possibly that you may get the full sentence. So drug court it's kind of a high risk, high reward kind of a thing. If you're the kind of person who can stay clean, you're the kind of person who can do what you need to do, that you can stay clean, you can make the reporting, you can do all that stuff, then it's great for you. It's maybe the best possible scenario. But if that's not who you are and it's not what you can do, then you need to look for other options. And part of that is just making sure that you talk with an attorney who knows what your options are and can help get you to where you need to be. For me, this is one of the better results that we've had, because there are other people who've really wanted to do drug court, and I've been a little bit nervous about it because I didn't know if they were going to be able to do it. If they really wanted to pursue it, if my client really wants it, then I'll help them. I'll figure out how to make it happen if we can, if they screen for it. But some people are just it's not the right fit for them, and I would recommend that they not do it. In this case, it's worked out really well, and I'm really excited for him. I think that he's got some great opportunities ahead. He's got a beautiful daughter. He's working. He's got an apartment. He is in a great situation, and I am hopeful that it will continue to be good for him. So that's basically it. I just wanted to tell that little story. I thought it was a good opportunity to talk about drug court a little bit. And if you folks have any questions out there, let me know. Happy to answer anything that you've got. I get a few, some of them end up being a little bit too narrow to really discuss on here, but I'll hopefully some other general questions, some broader questions come up, and I can kind of field those with you folks. And thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, like I said, send them to me. You can go to my website, crozierlaw.net, and Crozier Law, Crozier. You can check me out at crozierlaw.net if you want to reach to me there. You can go to the Facebook page. Yeah, let a friend know, or get in touch with me if you need some help. Thank you very much, and thanks for watching. Good luck out there.